I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt Van Horn. And this is the 3 Mile Domination Podcast.
All right, well, thank you for joining us for another episode here of 3 Mile Domination Podcast. I'm Jim Ross. Got Matt Van Horn here. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. All right, keeping busy getting on a new project down in Florida, so it's exciting.
Absolutely.
Good. Anyway, I just wanted to, we'll just jump right into the podcast here. We had a question that came across my desk from a client, and actually just doing like a consultation type thing. And they were asking how to boost their occupancy from 85% to 95%. And to start off with, they're doing something right to get up to 85% occupancy. I mean, most sites in the nation would love to have those kind of occupancy statistics, and he's doing something right. But yeah, I'll commend him for wanting to boost that an extra 10%. And so I thought we can kind of delve in a little bit here on what companies that are already successful, how they can kind of go back and reanalyze their business structure and their processes to really tweak it and really maximize every call that's coming in, every rental, and they'll boost that occupancy, and of course, you're making more money. And to me, we kind of said this over and over again, but that's why it's so important, is knowing your numbers. And that's the first thing I was asking him I was drilling him on was, okay, what's your current conversions? And he kind of stumbled and stammered for a minute, and we had to go through and then really look at what their processes was, what their procedures. And as we always talk about that with our managers as well, is track everything. When that phone call comes in, that's an inquiry. When a walk-in comes in, that's an inquiry. If that's the inquiries you're getting, then of course versus your rentals, there's your conversion percentages. And once you sit down and really start looking at the numbers, it becomes really apparent that if you can just close an extra 2 a week, it's amazing what kind of effect that can have, on your storage business. And I know you're of course a big numbers guy too, Matt, and I'm sure you sat down and looked at those kind of numbers, and it's amazing how just focusing a little bit and making little tweaks here and just converting a couple extra more, how that can just snowball and really be successful in your business.
Well, and I agree 100%. Part of this is when we're sitting down and looking at our budgets or working on budgets, we're already in September of 2013 at the time we're doing this call, and that means we're getting close to doing budgets for 2014. Very close, actually. Probably start next month getting them finalized and set up. But the fact is then you start looking at how much money are you devoting to marketing. And then after that, well, fine, am I not devoting enough money to marketing? Do I not have enough creative ideas? Am I not hitting enough people? Or are the calls coming in or the walk-ins coming in, and we're just not converting enough of those people that walk in off the street? And I think that's really what this boils down to. Once you know, hey, I'm only getting X number of calls, and I should be converting, and I know I should be converting X percentage of these. If you are converting the right percentage, maybe you do need to look at your marketing campaigns or put some more money into some different items like direct mail or door hangers or something like that where you can stimulate some calls. But, if you find out you're getting 100 phone calls and you're only getting, 4 rentals for 100 calls or something like that, that's a huge problem. And, that's something you really need to look at, because then that's how you can determine what's working and what's not working.
Well, exactly. Now, that's the first thing that I always look at, is just before you put any more money into marketing, make sure you're converting those calls that are already coming in. So in this case, yeah, they're already doing pretty well as far as their occupancy, and the calls are coming in. So let's focus on the next layer of converting more of those calls and making sure those processes are put in place. And so we sat down more as far as, okay, now we got that number in front of us. This is our goal. We want to convert. That's exactly what we came up with. 2 more a week. Convert 2 more callers in their renters, and they're going to have that extra 10% in no time. And we sat down going through the process, and it was a matter of what kind of special are you running, or what kind of special are you quoting on the phone, and of course that comes around to knowing your competition, what they are doing. So that's, step one is really going through your competition, shopping them, knowing what they're quoting. So, you want to preempt your competition. So you want to beat them there on the phone. And if that means you have to give a little bit up extra for a special or come down for some kind of a gift card I'll give you a tour, because we all know once they're down there at the site, it's pretty much a done deal. You can get the prospective customer come down to actually visit your location, they're going to rent. And so some locations are successful at doing a gift card of some sort. They have to come down to visit the site, they'll convert, and there you go. So we looked at that, again, going back to knowing your competition. Once they're there, training, of course, the sales managers on making sure, and again, I just did this twice this week. I was at a location, as I always do, I go and visit some competition. Well, I was 2 for 2. I walked in, and they did not offer to even show me the damn unit. they were just like, oh, you need a unit? Okay, what size? And kind of gave them the size, and we have some available. Here's the price. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to rent from you. There's no sales process whatsoever. You can just tell they just were not trained anything like that. And so I ended up with having them write the price and business card, and I went on my merry way and walked out the door. So, again, for your walk-in conversions, having those processes put in place. And then going back to the sales calls, all those ones that called in that didn't make an appointment, that haven't come in to rent yet, well, are you following up on those phone calls? And just on that, then guess your conversion percentage is going to go down a little bit, because a lot of times, who knows if they didn't need it anymore, or circumstances have changed. But if you're not making those follow-up phone calls, you'll never know. And so if you can get 1 out of 10 back on the phone and tell them again, about your specials, or even better, if it's a follow-up phone call that might be a dead lead, sweeten up the special. Tell them you talked to your the owner, and they've actually changed the special up. You want to give them a follow-up phone call, let them know that that the new special has been utilized at your facility, and you thought that they should know about it. I won't get any specifics of what kind of special. It's kind of up to you guys, but it just gives you an opportunity to call them back and get that rapport going back again. You can try to get that extra rental. And again, like I said, if you get 1 out of 10 that come in, that's going to lead to a couple more a month. And again, this is all about making little changes strategically and having systems in place to capture more of those leads. And yeah, you'll have your boost your occupancy in no time.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about this before, and I believe I mentioned this on one of our last podcasts that, recently I went and visited just 5 separate self-storage facilities, and, they did show me units when I asked, but they didn't, not one of them asked me for my contact information. No phone number, no email.
How did they follow up with you?
Yeah, they're not. They're not, and they have no idea. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, we're in a competitive market now. Times have changed, and they have been. I mean, this isn't new. I mean, over the last, 5, 6 years, things have changed dramatically since when I first started in this industry. And we have to go after every customer. We're now a stable industry. People know what we are. We're not off the beaten path and, kind of this neat little trinket of real estate. We're a heavy-duty market that has a lot of money coming into it, and we need to, conduct ourselves, in that way. And it just really makes no sense to me that you don't follow up with people. There may be some people that just don't need it right now. Maybe they need it in a month. Maybe they're just checking ahead of time, and just if you're the one that keeps following up with them, then they're the one you're the one they're going to remember. And if you don't, then it's just a waste as far as I'm concerned. You're wasting your marketing money. You might as well light it on fire.
If you're not converting those phone calls that are already coming in, what's the point of putting more money towards marketing? That's always the first thing to look at.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, we just keep going around in circles talking about this, but again, it all comes back to knowing your numbers, really sitting it down on what your processes are on your conversions, on follow-up phone calls, on email marketing, on on your actual script when you're actually talking to the customer in the first place. What are you doing to stand out from your competition? How to preempt your competition on the website to make sure you get called first. It's just a matter of just sitting down, being strategic about it, put the systems and processes in place to boost those conversions, and just being more mindful of that alone is bound to make the managers convert more, rather than just answering the phone, giving the spiel, hanging up, moving on a day. If they're being mindful of making it, putting all their effort into that phone call on conversions, you're going to see the rewards. You're going to be successful. And again, it just comes back to knowing your numbers. So unless you have any other specific things you want to tackle on that, I think we can wrap this one up.
No, I think we're good.
Good. All right. Well, we will see everybody next time. Take care.
All right. Have a great week. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the 3 Mile Domination Podcast. Please check us out at our website, 3miledomination.com, where you can download our free ebook, connect with us on all the social media platforms, and to subscribe to this podcast. Please spread the word to those you think that will benefit from this show. Just don't tell your competitors. Thanks again.